By now we're sure everyone knows about Mo Salah's outburst after the game against Leeds. And well, Arne Slot responded to that by leaving him out of the squad to face Inter Milan in the Champions League, and he made it clear in the pre-match conference that Salah was left out because of his words to the media days prior. But not only did the coach admit to that, he also had some strong words for the player, saying that, as the coach, he and the club have the right to react how they choose if Salah has the right to share his feelings with the media. When asked if Salah has played his last game for Liverpool, Slot said he has no clue, but everything right now seems to be pointing towards the relationship between the coach and player being broken beyond repair, which means that Salah might have indeed played his last game for Liverpool. There are already reports saying that he'll be on his way out of the club in January, and at this point it's hard not to believe them. But where will he be headed from here? That's the big question in the world of football right now, and in this video we'll be attempting to answer it. These are 5 possible destinations for Mo Salah in January. Top of the list will have to be a club in Saudi Arabia. He was heavily linked with a move to the Middle East last year, but he ended up staying back and putting up a Ballon d'Or worthy individual season. Now that things have gone sour with Liverpool, we're pretty sure those offers will be back on the table. Being a man from the Middle East himself, Salah must surely be tempted by the offer to go there and be closer to home. And of course, we all know those guys don't play when it comes to paying their players. Mo Salah could easily double his weekly wage just by taking that move. Considering Al Nassr currently employ Ronaldo, it's unlikely that they'll go for Salah as well, so perhaps we'll be looking at a possible move to Al Hilal. I guess we'll just see how that plays out. But then again, seeing how things have played out so far, Salah might be looking to prove to Liverpool that he was never the problem and he still has what he takes to deliver at the topmost level. And this would motivate him to remain in Europe. Now, his first real European option might seem really crazy to some of you, but before we talk about it, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do so right away so you never miss out on our amazing content. Now, back to the video. Salah's first real possible European destination has to be Real Madrid. The Spanish giants are currently in something of a crisis. They have been pretty disappointing across competitions in recent weeks, dramatically blowing a 4-point lead at the top of La Liga to now find themselves 5 points behind Barcelona following a run of just 1 win in 5 league games. In fact, they even lost to Salah's Liverpool, who are famously going through a really terrible time this season. So, in trying to save their season, surely Real Madrid won't mind bringing in one of the best players in the world, even if it's only on a short contract. Bringing in Salah could help them balance the attack. Vinny on the left, Mbappe down the middle, and Salah on the right would be a truly unstoppable attack. And they could make space for his arrival by selling Rodrigo in January. He's obviously not the coach's favourite and he has been pretty underwhelming for a long time now, so it will be a pretty easy decision to make. Also, Endrick is very likely to also leave in January, so there won't be a problem of the attack being too overloaded. The young Mastantuono will learn a lot from Salah, and he, along with Brahim Diaz and Gonzalo Garcia, will be used to rotate the minutes of the 3 main attackers. It really does sound like a perfect plan. If Salah clicks at Real Madrid and his arrival manages to fix their problems, it would be the biggest middle finger to Liverpool and Arne Slot, and we're sure that is definitely at the back of his mind. What would perhaps be an even bigger middle finger is if he remains in the Premier League and moves to Liverpool's biggest rivals from the last few years, Manchester City. We'll admit that the likelihood of this is pretty low compared to the others, but you just cannot write off the possibility of this. Man City doesn't exactly have the strongest right wing. Savinho and Oscar Bob have been underperforming in that position, which has forced Pep to use Foden and Cherki there, despite them being natural attacking midfielders. There's also the problem of the club being too reliant on Haaland for goals. Bringing Salah in will immediately solve that. It would be the absolute craziest thing if it happens, but when you're talking about a club with unlimited funds, it's hard not to consider a possibility like this. And if you think about it for a second, Salah is Pep's type of winger. No tricks, no showboating, just disciplined, persistent and direct football all game. But boy, Salah and Haaland in the same attack would just be totally unplayable. You know which other attacking pairing would be unplayable? Salah and Osimhen. Yes, Galatasaray have shown some real interest in the Egyptian winger and they're ready to make it worth his while monetary-wise. The Turkish club has benefited from a falling out between a big player and a club in the very recent past, so when you hear that they're lurking, just know they mean business. They could tempt Salah with a short-term deal, no crazy commitments and a hefty salary. They have Champions League football to offer and a solid team, so we're sure Salah will seriously consider it. A 6-month loan move until the end of the season could certainly turn into a permanent move in the summer. I mean, that's sort of how it happened with Victor Osimhen after he fell out with Napoli, so this is certainly one to keep an eye on. But hey, at 33, Salah may just see this as an opportunity to leave Europe and go chase the bag. He has won it all already. Premier League titles, a Champions League, multiple Golden Boots and Player of the Season awards, several records broken. In fact, he's already a Liverpool and Premier League legend no matter how this chapter ends. He really has nothing left to prove, so he could just decide to take the Lionel Messi route and move to the MLS. Early reports say that San Diego FC and Chicago Fire are interested in the Egyptian. These MLS clubs have already seen how impactful legends coming from European football can be. Even apart from Messi, other players like Thomas Muller and Son Heung-min have had instant impact in the MLS very recently, so it's no surprise that other clubs are trying to poach more players from Europe. These clubs can offer Salah a very healthy salary, and as you know, there are endless commercial possibilities in the US, so that could be a massive motivation as well. If he moves in the January transfer window, he'd also have enough time to settle in and get familiar with his new team just in time for the new season instead of just being thrown into a new environment halfway into the season. And hey, with Egypt going to the World Cup, Salah would have a few months to get used to the American pitches, crowd and the weather ahead of the big showdown coming up next summer. When you really examine it, the MLS option actually has so many advantages. There's one final option in all of this. There's still a slim chance that Liverpool will resolve all of this amicably and keep him at the club. He'll be off to the AFCON soon, and that will give them enough time to properly think things through and determine what to do with one of the best players in the club's history. They could sack Slot and back Salah, or they could find other ways to resolve all of this and keep the player happy. It's a slim chance, but it's still a possibility, you know? Anyway, what do you think is going to happen with Salah in January? Will he turn around and remain at Liverpool? Will his contract be terminated by the club allowing him to leave for free? Will he be put up for sale? What do you think? And if he really does leave, what club do you think he's going to join? Would you take Salah at your club? Get in the comments and talk to us, guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.